G'day guys, madmatt here. There has been a very controversial discussion on the madmatt 4Drive page when I posted a picture of these type of recovery points. These are on a Volkswagen Amarok, and it was very lively. There was opinions on both sides of the argument, and I made my points fairly clear that I didn't think this sort of system was suitable for recoveries. And basically somebody has come to me and said, Matt, I've got those fitted to my vehicle and I reckon that they are fit for purpose in certain scenarios. So we've just spent about the last 2 hours looking, talking and thinking about the design of these recovery points, and I just want to give you some information to help us understand the design and understand how they can be used. At the end of the day, I want to make sure that everybody can go wheeling well and be safe. I don't want people to be hurt. So if you're purchasing these, or if you're going to use these, or if you're out on the track with an Amarok that's fitted with these, it's good to watch this video and understand my thoughts about this recovery point. And basically, those of us who are involved in this discussion have all come to the same conclusions, and we all agree on what I'm about to say to you now. So, firstly, these recovery points are designed to be used in a recovery system. That system is this. There's 2 of those recovery points. They're used in every recovery. You're also going to use 2 rated bow shackles into the recovery point, and you're going to use them on a bridle strap. Okay, so that creates the recovery system, and that system is rated to 6.7 ton. Now that 6.7 is that when that's all used together, and it's effectively what we're saying, and this is a bit of a strange term that I don't particularly like, but for want of a better term, for a light recovery. What would I classify as a light recovery? A tow is a light recovery. So the vehicle's mildly stuck and it needs a tow. We can use these recovery points for that. We might use them as in this setup for an anchor point for a winching recovery where we're doing a double line pull and we need a second anchor point. We could use this sort of system for that. That is what I would consider a light recovery and what this system would work for. It is not suitable, in my opinion, for a snatch recovery, and I'll explain why. From an engineering point, and I stress I'm not an engineer, but I have done an awful lot of work making stuff with metal and getting paid to do it, so I have got experience and some opinions, but these aren't only my opinions. We've been discussing this across a number of fields. When the recovery is putting force into this hole here, this way, like that, this bolt here is what takes maybe 90% of the load. Now that's an M10 bolt, and it comes through here into this 10mm plate on the back of the chassis here. Now this top bolt here really doesn't do much, have much effect on the loading when that's put under load. Okay, so it's important to understand that. This becomes kind of like a hinge point, a pivot point. Okay, so now what has been failing? When the testing was done, they actually got an Amarok chassis from a wrecking yard and put that in the test cell and tested it up with the full system, both recovery points, bridle strap, etc., etc. And what failed was the chassis. And this is what I believe is actually where this system makes it a light duty recovery, if we're going to use that term. So the bolt comes into here in the chassis rail. Now the stress riser is going to be at the root of this weld right here where my finger is. So the energy that we're putting in comes into this piece of metal, into maybe that sort of area. This being the end of the weld is where the stress riser will start. Once it starts to tear, it can then tear up along this weld here, and that will give us our fail point. Now if this was, it's sort of hard to imagine that this whole section would come adrift from the car, but in a big snatch recovery, it is feasible that this whole section comes adrift from the car, and this is now attached to our rated bow shackle and comes flying out from the vehicle. obviously that's then connected into our snatch strap and that. So does this become a projectile? It may or it may not. It's going to really depend on the situation. But at the end of the day, you've just caused significant damage to your chassis rail if that was to fail. So that's why we're calling this a light duty towing style of recovery system. Now, in my opinion, without spending hours, really with engineers designing it, in my opinion, I would be looking at a system like this, and if it had a brace coming up to the forward section of the chassis up here, that then would quite potentially turn this into a more heavy duty style of recovery system. Okay, so that's basically the story. There is a rating on it. The rating is really nominal, shall we say. It's good that it has gone through a testing process. I don't believe that testing process leads us to really conclude that this is any form of heavy duty recovery system. Okay, so I hope that's helpful. Have a think about what I'm saying. Make your comments in the comments below and engage in the conversation, because at the end of the day, this is about us as four-wheel drivers learning how to wheel well, keep safe, and do a good thing out there on the track. I will just say at the close of this, I'm not about destroying anybody's business. Some people said that I was out to destroy business. I'm out to save lives. If a business builds this product, I'm saying this now, if they can build this product and make this safer again and turn this into a heavy duty recovery system, they can come to me. I will do a free video promoting that for them. Okay, so enough of that sort of silly comment. I'm here to make sure people go wheeling well. I'm Mad Matt. Stay safe on the trails. Just in that video, I did make reference to the rating of the system being 6.7 tonne. I was actually incorrect in that. It's 6.7 was when it failed in the chassis. The system has been rated at 5.75 tonnes. So both recoveries, bridle, rated bow shackles, etc. 5.75. So just that correction. Thanks, guys.